welcome to Pittsburgh Sports Line. This is a live show, folks. He's telling me to look at one camera, and we notice this stuff, so it's a little bit off. And guess what? Smoking Jim's not here. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got John, the intern. He is the best.
That was a good move.
That was a super move from John, the intern. You know, he's doing it again. This guy is just unreal.
Stealth.
He's in a stealth mode. Hey, thanks for watching our show. This is Pittsburgh Sports Line live in the studio. I know you're either watching 32 on Verizon or 7 on Comcast. And if you're Chip's buddy, Comcast 7, hello to you. What's his name?
Hey, Reed. Hope you're watching and enjoy the show.
Yeah, and this isn't normal with how our behavior is. So I apologize for it, but we're doing the best we can with what we have. It's not much we're working with here, at least on my part. These guys are great, but we do sports every night here on Tuesday night. We got Al Levine, the talking machine. That's me. Chip, the Prophet Hayner. Smoking Jim's missing. Little Z, Zach Brenner from Brenner Contracting. And we got little mini-me Z. I guess we're not going to show him because we're showing me now, so I'm good. But we'll see him later. And what we do in our first segment is we go, what's on our mind? And since Smoking Jim's in transit, for some reason they closed the Liberty tunnels coming out to the South Hills, and that was a secret way to get here.
I honestly think that it's a conspiracy because you know how we are conspiracy theorists.
Oh, yeah.
I think what the PennDOT is trying to do is isolate Gateway.
Oh, it is. He was so strong.
They're trying to keep all this illegal recruiting that's going on. Yeah. They're trying to
that may be it. Hey, since we got a couple minutes that he's not here, I'm going to do just a couple little promotions here that I have. One is a good friend of ours, Ray Coleman. It's Savoy Restaurant, Friday night. It's her birthday, 30th birthday. Since they taught me how to put this up in front of the camera. There we go. It doesn't have the pink color. Sorry, Ray, if you ever watch this.
Zach, print one out and send it over to us.
Well, you know what? She sent it on my dumb phone. You look on here.
Well, it's on my smartphone, too.
Well, you could have sent it. And then we have a golfing event that they're, the Pittsburgh Social Exchange. They're doing it next Monday. And they're out there. Where are we golfing even at here? Well, first of all, they're doing a fundraiser for the Homeless Children's Education Fund. And Kelly, one of our waitress bartenders at Sips Sports Bar, actually works for them and helps them. They're a 501c3, and they do a lot of good with the children in the area. The golf event is at Diamond Run Golf Club and Course, and it was designed by Gary Player. Now, this is a great event all day and dinner, and I just got notification on Facebook that Bill Mazeroski is going to be playing a round of golf with the crew out there next Monday. So have a great time, and say hi to Ethan Nicholas for me. And that's that promotion. Now we have another one. We're having the WPPBF. That's the Western Pennsylvania Police Benevolent Foundation. They do a lot of great things. Officer Drew here gave me the flyer on this. And this is with Shorty from Animal Planet. He's on there. And they're doing a smoke cigar shop and lounge at Washington Pike. And it's $25, food, beer, and one cigar. And it's 100% of the proceeds go to help the fallen officers in the area. And it really is a great thing. It's not for the officers, it's for their families because they passed away through tragic circumstances. So try to make it for that. That's August 22nd, 6 p.m. until, I would say, till they shut the doors. So nice thing to go to. Now we usually do our segment, What's on Our Mind? Little Z, what's on your mind?
Well, thanks, Al Levine. What's on my mind is most of you folks didn't get to watch the show from last night yet because it didn't come out yet. But what I want to talk about a little bit now is Steelers training camp. And I want to touch a little bit on the offensive line. Since Smoking Jim Frazier isn't here, he's been pounding away at how bad the offensive line is. But I just wanted to remind the folks at home. In the 2010 draft, the Steelers took Marquise Pouncey, number 18 in the first round. In the 2011 draft, they took Marcus Gilbert with the second pick in that round. In the 2012 draft, they took DeCastro with the first pick of their draft and Adams. So they got a lot of good draft picks that they've been using up. over there, and I think that they're going to be a lot better than Smoking Jim thinks they're going to be. So with all that talent and all that money invested, I mean, what else do you want them to do? The Steelers don't really go out and sign marquee free agents in free agency and bring them in. So if they're not drafted or brought in unrestricted, off the street, they're not playing in the black and gold. So I think there's a lot more talent here than he thinks. Beecham, that kid that we watched play basketball,
Yeah.
speaking of the benevolent fund, that was a fundraiser over there at
Police
Bethel Park.
pals. Yeah.
And I'm always happy when I hear about 100% because sometimes it says a partial.
Well, I can understand because a lot of these things, they have to pay for the venue that they're at. They don't always get sponsors. So that's one of the things. Like this golf outing, they have sponsors for a lot of the costs. Like Brenner Contracting covers a lot of costs when they do things and sponsor events. So that's one of the reasons being. So I do understand it because I've done fundraising, and 100% is the best.
It is.
It
the
is.
best.
I'm all in on that. That's why we help promote them. It's right here with Bethel Park Police. They're big with this. South Park, same thing. So anytime we can help them out, we do. Make sure you show up there.
But that Beecham, he was a 7th round draft pick. So, and shout out to another 7th round draft pick who has a bigger and better beard than me. Brett Kiesel
Who?
was the 7th round draft pick that ended up panning out a little bit for the Steelers and making a little bit of noise. So that's what's on my mind. I think the Steelers' offensive line is going to be a lot better than Smoking Jim Frazier thinks it's going to be, just like the Pirates are right now, doing better than a lot of people predicted and thought they were going to be. And right now, the Steelers aren't predicted to do anything right now. So I always like flying under the radar and sneaking up on people.
When people sell the Steelers short is when they perform their best.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
All right, thanks. I just got the word. John, our intern, informed me that Smoking Jim has arrived. And we're going to go right with Chip Hayner on what's on your mind.
Okay, thank you, Alan. What's on my mind tonight? Well, I'm the baseball guy here. I'm the guy that's been touting the Pirates all season. And, just a quick little shout out. Today happens to be Pirates manager Clint Hurdle's birthday, so happy 56th birthday to Clint Hurdle. It's also another notable figure in baseball's birthday today as well. And this is going to kind of lead me right into my rant. Bud Selig's birthday's today. He's 79 years old. And the reason why I bring up Bud Selig, because I think he's a moron, okay? He's ruining baseball, and he's making a mockery out of his commissionership. Now, let me just point out a few examples so that you can see what I'm talking about. So last week, they suspend Ryan Braun for the rest of the season, which was a joke because it's like slapping somebody on the wrist for using PEDs, for being a multiple-time user and them having irrefutable evidence of his guilt. So now we've got Alex Rodriguez. And Alex Rodriguez has already been caught twice. Now he's into his 3rd time being caught. And, no suspensions have come down yet. And the reason no suspensions have come down yet is because, he's negotiating his options on his punishment. Now, the guy's guilty. They've got enough evidence to fry him. And he's got the option to either accept a lifetime ban or he can be suspended for this year and next year and then still be able to collect the rest of his $30 million a year contract for the next 3 seasons after that. When do the guilty ever get a chance to pick their punishment? Well, how many convicted murderers have gotten a chance to say, I'll serve 6 months and then I think I'll get let free? Never happens. What they need to do is they need to ban him for life. They need to void his contract and make him go away completely. Shouldn't be any options about it. That's number one. Number two, the umpiring in baseball has been atrocious at best this year. Okay, there's been multiple incidents of calls being blown. Last night, I was watching a Pirate game and I watched one call blown at first base when Alex Presley was clearly safe. The umpires called him out, but that's not nearly as bad as some of the incidents that happened otherwise. Last night in Boston, a call was made that affected the outcome of the game and ultimately ended the game. Tampa Bay was playing Boston. And our old friend Jerry Meals. Does anybody remember who Jerry Meals is?
1980s.
Jerry Meals is the jerk. I'll clean up my mouth. Is the jerk that lost the Pirates a 19-inning game 2 years ago in Atlanta. And it was after that game that the wheels fell off the Pirates' bus that year. Okay, he's the guy that blew the call at the plate where Michael McHenry clearly tagged the runner out, and he called him safe. I don't know what he was looking at. So last night, the Red Sox player was trying to score from second base, comes around third, slides in, clearly slides in safely, touches the plate. The catcher tags him after the fact. Jerry Meals calls him out. You know, how long is it going to be before they finally do something to get the calls right? In hockey, they review every play in Toronto, and within a minute to a minute and a half, they have a decision on something like that. Now, baseball needs to go towards something like that. I think it's about time that they did that. I don't think that they should go to using electronic means to call balls or strikes. You know, the human element in the game people have talked about.
We'll revisit this.
You know, I mean, you know, the strike zone varies from umpire to umpire, and there's not a problem with that. Calls like that, home run calls, they should be reviewed because, you know, that could affect which teams makes it to the playoffs. And last but not least, once again, the Boston Red Sox, Big Papi. Okay, David Ortiz, another former steroid abuser, who has not been punished. He's at bat, and apparently he's got an issue with one of the umpires because the umpire called 2 strikes that were clearly balls against him and struck him out. So what does he do? He stamps off the field after flipping out at the umpire, goes into the dugout with his baseball bat, destroys 2 telephones with his baseball bat, and baseball decided, well, you know what, there's no suspension coming for him. Well, what kind of behavior is that to exhibit in a professional sport? You know what?
We got 3 good points to revisit with you.
I'm
itching on that one.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You know, they should get some form of discipline for that. That's unacceptable behavior under any circumstances. But that's what's on my mind. That's what's on my mind.
Thank you, Chip Hayner. We got Smoking Jim in the house, so if you guys could send us to a commercial. Again, this is live TV, so we're going to go to commercial right now, and we're going to try to get Jim in our locked room here so we can have him on air in a minute or so. So thanks, folks. See you on the other end.
I get stuff. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, you got me all fired up.
Hello, everyone. I am Fiore, host and producer of Outtakes with Fiore here on BPTV, and it's not going to be too long. Short period of weeks before Outtakes celebrates its 500th episode. Now, in the research I've done, 500th episode is going to be a milestone not only for BPTV, but also for film review shows all across the nation. And we'd like you to be a part of it. If you've been a fan of the show for a good number of years, or if you've been a recent fan, we're inviting you to be part of the 500th episode show. All you need to do is give station director Dave Cable a call at this number, 412-831-3304. That's 412-831-3304, and you can come down to the studio and make your own taped greeting that will be part of the 500th episode. I know I'm going to be there. It's a milestone. Why don't you be part of it too? Call Dave Cable today at 412-831-3304.
We're back, folks. Here we go. We got Smoking Jim here. He come from God's country in Monroeville. 1 hour and 10 minutes to get here, but he made it safe. I know you're safe, buddy, so I won't ask about your health, but what's on your mind?
Oh, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Oh, you're too far away.
you need Levine. You better see Levine. But I was looking for Chip's breadcrumbs on the way in. I tell you what, I got to find a new route. Everything's closed down. Liberty Tunnel's
Here's a guy to
closed down.
call.
Jim, I made a statement before. I think they're trying to isolate Gateway to curb all the illegal recruiting that's going on out there.
That's the punishment.
But I didn't have any Steel Valley colors today, so I'm in my black and white. But what's on my mind is just a real quick story. I tell you what, and it was inspired by some of the coaches from Bethel Park that we were with out in the midget
Rev 'em
football.
up for kids.
Yeah, rev 'em
Car
up for
cruise.
kids at the car cruise. So I'm in New York City a few years back, and I
How
tell
many
you what,
years?
you know, I would say 8 to 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I was late for an appointment, and I'm running through the city of New York. And I tell you what,
You
man.
running?
And I tell you what, it was packed, and they got some hustlers in New York City. They'll hustle everything. And it had to be 50 different shoe shine stands and shoe shine guys. So every time I'm walking, man, I'm all dressed up like Al Levine, the talking machine, and they're like, hey, you want a shoe shine? No. 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 So one guy came, I'm walking, he's like, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. He's like, excuse me, sir. He says, I tell you what, today's my birthday. And he says, every year on my birthday, I give the 100th person that walks past my shoe shine stand a free shoe shine.
Wow,
So I says, okay, thanks. I take that free shine. So, I mean, he spit shine. He put it on it. I mean, he got down. He got busy. So afterwards, he says, hey, thank you very much. I says, you know what? How much you usually charge for a shine? He says, $2. I says, you know what? Because it's your birthday, here's a 5 spot, man. Enjoy your birthday.
Was that a 5 or?
Gave him a pin. So as I walked away, I'm walking away. I'm getting ready to cross the street because I know no cabs will pick me up. And all of a sudden, I happen to look back, and I see the same guy, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. So sometimes to create an opportunity for yourself, you got to think outside the box. And if you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. And I brought that up to say this, that the things that we're doing at SIP Sports Bar is so unique that nobody else is doing it. There's other people that do radio shows and stuff like that on location, but that's just going out to the radio audience. But nobody is sitting in the sports bar and entertaining the great people in the area of Pittsburgh like we do. So I want to give us a big hand for what we do. We were able to think outside the box and create an opportunity for ourselves as SIPs.
That was nice. It's hard to keep patting ourselves on the back. I'll try. All right.
You got the models patting you on the back all day long today.
That's a good point. I like to thank Jim Frazier for bringing out
Just
all
keep
that
bringing them,
ladies
Smokey.
every week on Monday night. He scouts them and evaluates them and brings them out, man, and I'll knock them down.
Like Little Z wants to put the red light on Smoking Jim there. It's a green light. All right? We're going for the green. It was great to have Bill Boyce and his models there. He brought 5 there, and it was
Well,
just
let's not
fantastic.
forget about Miss Sparks, because that's dynamite in
That's under the
in a
SIP.
small package.
That's under the SIP Sports Bar.
Well, she's a
lineup.
model too, so I just wanted to.
Bill Boyce didn't bring her.
But she was there. And she's a
she?
model.
How
I
do you
think she
know?
looked better than the models he had.
Hey, the picture. Whoa, where'd all that love go for all these models here? You know what? We're gonna go to what's on my mind.
What is on your mind?
Books.
Woo, right! I'm
I
ready
brought
to
my
read.
library.
I'm ready
Here
to read.
for little Jimmy,
Only the
Sugar
cover
Ray.
has a picture.
For little Jimmy, ball 4.
Oh,
No
he
pictures.
wasn't a wide receiver in high school.
Little Z, that has about greenies in there. Ball 4 was written by Jim Boughton, so you can read that. And then here's my special
Hey, just-
for Smoking Jim Frazier. I'll pass this down, but
Yeah,
there are
just pass
pictures.
it.
This is Joe DiMaggio. This is a great
Good looking
book.
guy there.
He's
He looks
young
like he's
there.
English.
Wow.
He's Italian.
And that's in response to my, efforts to immortalize his 56-game hitting streak.
Exactly. And if you look,
Thanks for
there-
that coupon at Kentucky Friday.
That's for you, Smoking Jim. And the books I want
Again,
back.
cut the check.
Free wings.
Kentucky Fried.
And those books I want back, because I know he's not getting past 17.
Ooh, Marilyn
pages.
Monroe.
You just enjoy that. 'Cause
Oh.
not only is there's another marker on
He-
there.
this is a
He
ticket
took it
to
out.
the last
He took it out
to
of
the
the
last
page.
time the Pirates were relevant and we're in the playoffs. So this
Maybe it
ticket's
was on
worth a
this
lot of
page.
money.
No, it isn't.
Whoa,
That was the
look at
last game at Forbes Field. Little Z, when I was at Forbes Field, Lois, he wasn't. Oh no, somebody's calling.
Somebody's calling.
We got a caller.
I got a call. I didn't even do what's on my mind. Hello, welcome caller. Who is this? Not Devin Shea, the cameraman who's been taking me all over the country. How's that doubleheader? breaking up.
What inning?
What inning do you have?
It's extra. 10th.
10th inning?
10th inning.
Eh, Well, I appreciate the update. If it's 1-1, who's batting up right now? Any Buccos yet?
Yeah, we're up right now. The stuff, 31 is.
Well, I'm glad that you got the military discount. You're in a Lexus club. He's on a doubleheader. He outdid myself with getting freebies. Not only to get a free ticket for one game, he got a free ticket for a doubleheader in the Lexus club.
And he gets an extra inning game.
And then he's in a bonus. Smoking Jim just brought it out, Devin. You're in a bonus situation with extra innings. Hey, I heard there was some difficulty there that you had Cracker Jacks falling all over you. Is that true?
Yeah, I was in charge of the person. Actually, in the hat, but not close enough to the head.
Yeah, what falling over him?
Cracker Jacks.
Oh, Jacks. Okay.
Yeah, not just
We
crackers.
apologize, folks. Devin's trying his hardest. There's a lot of steel.
Yeah, you know what? We're getting a lot of. It's breaking up, but I appreciate you calling in, Devin. We're getting a lot of static here on the line. I don't know if they're blocking the military from calling us on the show because we're in our war room here right now. So, hey,
Yeah,
how many outs in that 10th inning? How do we look?
1 out
Who-
right now, and Marte is up right now.
Ooh.
Oh, we hate to let you go when Marte had that hit earlier in the game too that I saw.
Yeah. But I'm going to get back to the game, so you guys have a good stuff.
Thanks,
All right.
Devin.
All right,
Enjoy
Devin.
your
Let's
night.
go Bucks. Bring home a winner.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Yes,
There you
two.
go.
Good day to play two. And that was Devin Shea, who's normally in the control room.
No pictures in Sugar Ray.
That's what I
told you
said.
it was only the cover.
But that was what was on my mind. I brought my little library out for the sports guys here.
You're the only one I know that autographs your own book.
that's-
Because he
That's
gives,
an
said he gives
Al-
them out. Because he said he gives them out. And he
That's
got
Al Levine
I give.
original.
Here's what happens. I loan my books out. Just ask Erin Ward if she has 2 books of mine for over a year. I know she can hear this.
Jim, I had a handwriting expert verify that.
Hey, speaking of, I have a counterfeit
Hold
money.
on, wait,
back.
we're not
Let me
done.
see your money. I'm gonna check the 5 to see what he gave that poor shoe shine guy.
Hold on, wait, we're not done here. John, you can't reach that ball 4 book, can you?
We'll get to it.
That's okay. Yeah, because I already told people you're the best intern in the business. You're going to go to a new level.
There we go. Oh, this is classic.
Woo!
No.
Nice! All right, John, you the man. You the man.
Now,
Oh,
open
I've
up
seen
that
it all
book.
now.
Now, this is for Smoking Jim to read. Ball 4, folks. Jim Bowden. Now, open up the inside cover, and you'll read that was one of the top selling books in sports history. Am I right?
It's going to be second to yours.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
going to be second to
You didn't
yours.
sign that book.
I'm going to go
that was
buy
back
him.
when I was a kid, so a younger man.
You got
I
to see
had
what
that,
you're up
so.
against.
Now give me those books back. Now we go to revisit what's on our mind. And I wanted to first touch on, since David Ortiz was the last thing you talked about, I'll bring that up first. Now, first of all, supposedly in sport, oh, thank you. You sure you don't want to read another page? Read a page of each. Anyhow, these guys aren't role models, and he beat up 2 phones. And then here's the other thing. What if somebody would have got injured
Good point. Good point.
with a phone shattering? Because when you saw that on video, he shattered those 2 phones. If somebody would have got something in their eye, because you know your mother always told you, don't let little Jimmy get hit in the eye.
She used
right?
to beat me with a bat.
Well, yeah, but she didn't splinter. She didn't. Mama Frazier, please don't watch
He
the
might have
show.
went through quite a few bats.
Here's my thing. He should have been suspended at least for a couple games. I mean, that's how simple this is.
I agree.
It is.
I
But, you know,
agree.
we've got a commissioner in baseball right now that is afraid to administer justice to anybody. You know, they were hyper focused on Ryan Braun, and they zeroed in on him, and they got him suspended. And then really, the suspension is a joke. What kind of punishment is it?
You're
the
right.
guy's been injured
You're right.
most this year. The team's in the tank. What is Milwaukee losing? What's Ryan Braun losing? He's losing pennies.
And watch our show from last
Does-
night where I get into
Does
why
Bud
and how.
Selig still have any interest in the Milwaukee
No,
Brewers?
he does not.
Behind the scenes,
You
of
know, I
course.
mean, other than the fact that as a commissioner you're working for the owners, but
He did
you know,
own the team.
You know, and it's just laughable. And then to stand by and continue to let the umpires, you know, just completely botch baseball games, and it's, you know, an umpire should not be able to affect the outcome of a game. You know, there should be, you know, they're going to go to instant replay next year. What's wrong with starting it now? You know, because it is affecting games. I don't say every call needs to be
I
reviewed.
think referees
but
have
there
been
are-
affecting the outcome of games since, you know, before, you know,
But
the
you know, they've
Gladiators.
got replay in NFL. They've got replay in the NHL.
I'll get you a book
They've
on
got replay in the NBA. Okay, so what's wrong with doing it in baseball? You know, even when they have reviewed things in Major League Baseball, they've got it wrong. Or balls that were clearly home runs that the umpires
Well,
because they disagreed with the
Since
with the
since we're
replay.
talking about it, one of the things, baseball's too long of a sport on a lot of these things. Like when you do, you know, like an intentional walk. There's been a movement to maybe just, okay, say there's an intentional walk. Take that away so you cut down some of the time. Now, I'm a traditionalist on it, but if we're breaking tradition with all the technology, it opens up a can of worms now to
Right.
expand some other things because you don't want a 4-hour game.
And it's going
No,
to
you
cost a
don't. And
lot.
you know what you do is, you know, after every pitch, the batter sits there and he's going to step out of the box and he's going to adjust himself and he's going to take his hand gloves on and off and then, you know, and he's going to, you know.
Pitchers do the
fucking
same
everything.
thing.
Yeah, but you know what? You can speed up the game, and you know what? You know.
But that's my point.
It's
You
so
do have
much
this-
easier though in hockey though when they're in Toronto and the games, the movement and the speed and the flow of the game is so much easier for the human to watch the screen and watch the game. In baseball, it's like watching paint dry sometimes.
Unless you're
Holy
playing
smokes!
it.
But
Chip and
Yeah.
I were both pitchers, so we're into the
Or
game.
unless you're at home drinking and every time somebody says Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook, you can have a drink for every.
While you're watching a game.
Yeah, and somebody
I'll
kept
come
saying
over
it a million times.
For a small fee,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Exact-
That's not a.
That's a new angle, folks.
Hey, here
You
we
can
go.
buy
Little
all the
Z's
things.
going to be promoting me that we will do house parties, 30 or more people. Only $5 a person. We're revisiting stuff.
And Jim gets free French fries.
Well, maybe. If he's on time.
Well, they
If
didn't
he's on
suspend
time.
Ortiz. They didn't suspend Ortiz for destroying the phones in the dugout. They don't suspend the umpires for making like just outrageously
Exactly.
ridiculous calls.
And they
So
don't suspend the players for cheating.
exactly. So what kind of integrity does baseball have right now?
Let me think.
You know,
Not
I
much.
mean, you know, I tell you what, I love the game, and you know, I'm a student of the game. I've loved it all my life, and I still love it. I think what they're doing to it is disgraceful.
And this has been the erosion that's been happening over years because
Mm-hmm.
umpires shouldn't be at the forefront. We'll talk about that in the Pirates segment and what I saw happen during the game there just a little while ago.
Well,
So,
since smoking Jim Frazier, I don't know if you heard what was on my mind.
No,
if
he
you didn't
didn't.
make it in time from the parking lot. But I'll just touch a little bit on all the high draft picks
I heard
that
it.
have been bought on,
I heard that
brought
was
into
on-
the offensive
I heard
line,
it.
and you don't think that with that kind of mix that somebody's got to pan out. Not all of these guys are bums. We got Marquise
Hold it, let me
Pouncey,
cut to the
round
chase
1,
real
pick
quick.
18.
Little Z,
DeCastro,
I'm gonna bring
round
Smoking
1.
Jim up to speed real quick.
Thank you.
Now, some of the top picks that the Steelers picked, he said were soft. So even though they're top picks on your list and the Steelers list, Smoking Jim's going to jump right in now.
I don't
They're
think
soft.
Marquise Pouncey is soft at
he's
all.
a great
No.
player.
He's
Great
a,
player.
No,
and that's
we're not
he's a
talking-
rarity,
he'll tell you,
but he's
but-
still a knucklehead from Florida and a Gator,
Okay.
not a Gateway Gator, a Florida Gator. So
No,
just
but
let's
there's a couple
differentiate.
soft players.
I see Michael Adams on your list and
He's
Marcus Gilbert. on
round
your list.
2. He's
You
a
know,
second round
you know what
draft
Marcus
pick.
You like him?
Gilbert did yesterday in the
I'm not
conditioning
saying that I
drill?
like these guys. I'm just saying that they have a lot of high picks in the
But he
last
said they're
3
bad
drafts.
picks.
Wait,
Yeah.
did you hear what Marquise Gilbert did in the conditioning drill?
No.
He wasn't
Yeah.
able to finish it.
No, I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Did
He had
Woodley
cramps.
finish?
He had cramps.
It was dehydrated.
Come from
Crabs
Florida.
or cramps?
Come from Florida. It's like one of the coolest weeks we've had here in the summer. He comes from Florida and can't make it.
He couldn't.
Fat, lazy, slow, and
Oh, did somebody
sloppy.
had to take Casey Hampton's place?
Yeah, that's what you
I thought you were going to be all over. Remember, I asked you last week, and all I'm saying is who's going to be the guy that fails the conditioning test? There he is.
There he is, Marcus Gilbert.
That thing is designed to penalize the big
He's
guys.
on Lil Z's list.
No, you know
That's
what,
his
though?
A list.
And I will tell you this. I'm going into the Steelers season. Don't get me wrong. True blue Steelers fan, bleed black and gold, and I'm going into this season with absolutely no expectations. And and I think the Steelers will open a few eyes this year. But I mean, there's just so many question marks right now
11-5.
as to what the Steelers are going to be. I mean, other than the fact that Ben Roethlisberger is going to keep them in just about every game they play, there's.
He may not be
That's
playing
not
this
necessarily
game.
true either, because in the last couple years, though, Ben Roethlisberger's been giving away some games too.
Really?
Yeah, Ben's been giving away
We'll
some
go to
games
the
too.
Steelers segment. All right, this revisitation's done here. Let's go. Where are we going next? All right, Sip Sports Bar. We had a great night. And we had the supermodel Midwest Princess come into the studio by special demand, popular demand from the whole neighborhood. Everybody else wanted photos with her. I barely got one photo with her, and you guys were all over the place with that. I'm looking at Facebook, YouTube, I don't know, newspapers, I think, and everything. But Alicia Sparks was just fantastic. She wowed them with her personality, her look, her talk, everything else. Just an awesome show. You have to watch it.
It's truly a pleasure to interview.
And they even caught me that I liked so much of her stuff. I didn't see a video till today, and it was only like a 1 minute and 40
called you
second
out
video.
too. That was classic.
And I said, "Hey, I didn't watch that."
She pulled your card.
She
man.
got
She
me.
got you.
And I don't know if you even saw the video, Little Z, because we didn't ask about that. That he was so mysteriously quiet, folks, that he was like, "I'm glad they got the talking machine because I'm clean." Hold it, wait. He goes, "Man, it was close." I'm only showing half of it since you're killing me.
That's what I
Contract.
told Alicia when she sends me my picture. All I want her to have on is that burner contracting towel.
Whoa, this is a family show for all the kids under like 13. Leave the room. Oh, we did have a 13-year-old guest too. One of the best football, basketball players in the area from Rochester, Caleb Collins. What a great guest. What a great family. And his aunt was there, who was his sister. His parents were his grandparents. It was so confusing. I apologize to everybody, but it was great having you on the show. But Sips, it was just a great time. We had Bill Boyce with his models. He brought them up 5 at a time. Just fantastic. They've liked us on Facebook. We hit a new high of 415 likes on there, so thanks, ladies, for helping us out. They're going to make another appearance August 12th. Mark your calendars. Sip Sports Bar, 2 weeks from now. You'll get to meet them. Maybe you'll get a picture with them like Little Z and Chip and I did, and Smoking Jim, he's always 2 steps ahead with those photos. I think he gets them a day or 2 ahead of time. Then I saw first on Facebook, Smoking Jim's liking everything, complimenting everybody because he's a true gentleman and a scout of the models.
He is.
Well, all of
True
a
talent
sudden-
evaluator.
all of a sudden, one of his supermodel friends, host, co-host, producer, she says she's going to be on our show next week. We're going to leave her name silent. I won't mention China, but if she's there, she's more than welcome anytime, China. And we want to thank Sip Sports Bar for letting us there. Great food. Kelly and Brandy were fantastic. Pete cooked up some great meals. Smoking Jim had a sandwich called Rachel because he's such a ladies' man. They gave him a corned beef Reuben and they called it Rachel just for him. And speaking of Sips, every Monday night is Pittsburgh Sports Line at Sips, so come on out to see us. We're getting great crowds, a lot of new fans. We had John Wagner from Steel Nation Magazine.
Yes, sir.
This guy is just great. He met Smoking Jim years ago with boxing. Now he has his own online magazine. You got to check it out. 16 pages every month. They come out. Great articles, great insights. Just a nice guy. He's going to be back on our show again. He has great insights, too, into the sports world. We had a lot of fun with the show. If I'm forgetting anybody, who'd I forget? It's Sips. Did I miss some?
Kamikaze Kid, shout out to the
Kamikaze Kid.
Got
Thanks
t-shirt.
for the shirt.
Guess what? We got thanks for the blue Pit T-shirt for me. He said I saved you the colors. And everybody else got something else, I think. But we thank you for that. And it was just a great time. Wednesday night, be there. It's Smoking Jim's Ladies Night at Sip Sports Bar. $1 drinks. So show up. 25-cent wings. We're going to try to hit that this Thursday. We've been there. We miss our wings. Dan has the best coffee there. Pete cooks up all the food. He's fantastic. Friday they have entertainment. Saturday they have entertainment.
And let's not forget about Brandy and Kelly, the two best servers in the city.
Definitely. And you can see them from 2 weeks ago. Like Brandy said, you can only see their backs, but they were presenting a birthday cupcake to my man Smoking Jim. So it was quite the day there. And they also have happy hour 4 to 6, free parking on the other side of the streets, free. And they have drink specials, food specials. The food's delicious. Stop out there. Thanks again to Sip Sports Bar. Now we go into a couple of the segments that are my favorite. First one up is Smoking Jim's Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine, and just a little extra bonus.
I knew he was going to pull that out.
Alicia,
I
we
knew
got
it. I could have
Alicia
bet on it.
Sparks there to,
Wow.
to prove maybe I go get these pictures a couple days beforehand.
Kamikaze Kid put a bid. This isn't going to charity. $10,000 to
Now that
Smoking
you
Jim.
spoke it up, I got the check from the Kamikaze Kid, $10,000.
He said,
Just to show that maybe these shows are rehearsed. It's right on time.
No, I didn't know what
I
you
know
had.
that was good. That was excellent. No one will believe it, but that was right on
Oh,
time.
Kamikaze-
I got a $10,000 check from Kamikaze Kid for the
Kamikaze Kid
picture.
said I'm pretty quick with
signed
stuff,
it
so it
too.
worked out again. This was not scripted, folks.
But
We're flying by the seat of our pants.
I had to turn that check down. But
You still took it, though.
yeah, I took that
He
check.
didn't endorse it.
But here's
What do you have for
Here's
us?
what's on my mind.
No, Smoking Fiction and Fact.
Fiction and Fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac. I got to talk about my main man,
Who?
Marnie Mason Clay.
Wow.
Marnie Mason Clay, I don't know if he'll ever fight again, but at one time he was the Tasmanian Devil here in the city of Pittsburgh. And that just takes me back to stage A&E or stage
Hey,
AE.
I'm the straight guy.
And this is something else that a lot of people think is rehearsed, because at that time, Stage A&E in 2011 was brand new. They had a couple of concerts there. Wiz Khalifa's concert was the.
Was there something yellow with that?
Yeah, like you guys
Like
were
our
saying,
team.
black
We're
and
the
yellow.
gold, but we got black and yellow tonight.
And Wiz Khalifa had a concert there, and it was a record-setting number of attendance. I forget what it was.
Well, it was
but,
the first time, so they had to set a record.
well, it was some other concerts,
teasing.
but his was number one. And they never had a boxing show there, so when me, Roy Jones Jr., and Troy Ridgely from TNT went to negotiate the deal, our thing was we wanted to break that record. It was an outstanding night that night. Me, Kevin Colbert of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the GM, Mike Tomlin, and in town that weekend was Raheem Morris, who was the coach from Tampa Bay. We went to dinner prior to that event, and I kept saying, how did Raheem Morris get that Tampa Bay job? But during the fight, they ended up being a record-setting crowd. Marnie Mason Clay, Roy Jones Jr., and TNT put together a crowd that surpassed even the Wiz Khalifa concert. So, Fiction and Fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac was a great, great time, great, great event. And the city of Pittsburgh, I can't say the words that Al Levine, the talking machine, says that I says, but it's going to be bigger than Las Vegas, or just as big, epic something, he says. I got to look some of those words up. But yeah, Pittsburgh is growing. Boxing is growing here in the city of Pittsburgh, and I'm glad that we're all a part of it.
And next week, folks, we'll thank you for the Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac, but I will have a dictionary up here on stage.
Better get a Pictionary with some pictures with that
Well,
dictionary.
we're not going to do that. We're going to go right to one of my favorites, Chip's Trivia Time.
All right.
What do you have, Chip?
Well, being that we're in the midst of this baseball fever, because the Pirates are playing the Cardinals for first place. We won the first game of the series last night, 9-2. The bats woke up, and we're half a game out of first place. But I was reading through some information, and I found an interesting statistic about a game that was played last week. And I can't remember who the Seattle Mariners played, but they beat somebody 4-2. And the interesting thing about this game was, in the game that the Mariners won 4-2, they only had one base hit in the game. Okay, they had one base hit, but they scored 4 runs. They scored 2 runs on passed balls, one on, the other 2 on a hit. And do you know how the last time that happened in Major League Baseball?
No.
Was 99 years ago.
Wow.
That one team scored 4 runs with only 1 hit, and I found that as a pretty interesting statistic. But that's
is interesting.
that just doesn't happen. But being that we're playing the Cardinals, and over the next 2 months, as the Pirates battle for their playoff spot, that
Yes.
I'm assured that we're going to get. We're playing the Cardinals, and the Cardinals is another team that's steeped in tradition as much as the Pirates are. The Pirates are 128 years old. The Cardinals are 122 years old. And just some interesting statistics about this the Cardinal organization, because everybody
Interrupt.
says.
Could you get that print any smaller? Your secretary got to get that.
I gotta tell you, man,
You're going to be like Mr.
I'll read
Magoo
it.
by the time this show's done. You know that.
But
I'm feeling
the
better.
St. Louis Cardinals have been in existence since 1892, and this is probably one of the model organizations in baseball. It ranks right up there with the Yankees. The St. Louis Cardinals have won 11 World Championships. They've had 18 World Series appearances over their career.
Any Gas House Gang guys? Not that I know about baseball.
But they took on the name as the Cardinals in 1900. In the first 8 years of their existence, they were known as the St. Louis Brown Stockings. Then they were known as the St. Louis Perfectos.
I like
the
the
year of
Perfectos.
1899. Now here's this interesting statistic. In the 20th century, the Cardinals had a pretty amazing record. In 1907 and in 1908 were the 2 seasons, and the only 2 seasons in the 20th century that the Cardinals lost 100 games.
Wow.
That's a pretty interesting statistic, because
I gotta ask why.
that's what you call success. They've if you look at what they've done here, let me see. There's
How can you see it?
how I can see it.
Look at that.
They've had 3 Triple Crown winners, and a Hall of Famer that some of you may have heard of, and I'm sure Zach's never heard of, a guy named Rogers Hornsby. Rogers Hornsby's in the Hall of Fame. He won 2 Triple Crowns with the Cardinals, and in 2 of the 3 years that he won the Triple Crown, the first year he won it, he had a 42 home runs, 152 RBIs, and a 401 batting average.
There you
I can
go.
see that from here.
The 1924, Rogers Hornsby wins the batting title with a 424 batting average.
Wow.
The
He didn't
highest,
stutter. That's 424.
the highest mark in the National League during the 20th century.
Wow.
And then the year that they won the World Series, their first World Series, no, the year before they won their first World Series, second Triple Crown, 39 home runs, 143 RBIs, and a 403 batting average. These are numbers that are unheard of in baseball.
Hey, Mini Me Z, how you doing, buddy? What's the score of the game?
But I just thought I'd throw out some statistics regarding the Cardinals, because
That's awesome stuff.
because right now the Pirates, I think they're playing in the best division in baseball, and for the Pirates to be successful this year and to make the playoffs and to do it against the caliber of competition that they're playing now is really going to give teeth to their accomplishment. If they were playing the Houston Astros, who haven't won since second week in April, everybody would be saying, "Oh, look, they played the Astros 35 times."
Right.
But we're not. We're playing the best teams in baseball, and we're playing them even. So far our record against the Cardinals this year, we're 6-4.
Wow.
We've got 13 more games including the first game of the doubleheader this
Which
this
somebody
year
call in
against Wayne.
412-831-3304. Let us know.
But as we
Wanna
go
know.
through,
That was
I'll
a
be
great-
pulling out interesting Pirates facts from the 128-year history of the ball club
Nice.
over the next 2 months. So I'll be digging out some nuggets.
All right.
Well, I
I want
just-
to hear about the first World Series and everything like that.
Before we move on to the next segment, I just wanted to
This
touch
is your
a couple
segment, buddy.
couple
We
seconds
got a
on
little Z segment that whatever
Since-
wasn't on his mind
since-
earlier.
It's not often that Smoking. I mean, he's hitting the nail on the coffin today. He got Monty Mesa Clay. We know him as Two Guns because that's what he was before he was called Monty Mesa Clay.
Why
We
was
called
he
him
called
Two
Two
Guns.
Guns?
That was his nickname because he had two fast hands as lightning.
I just
So
wanted you to
even
bring it up.
Junior,
I understand
even
that.
Junior Teddy, little JB, used to spar Monty Mesa Clay
Really?
when
Is
they
that
were
what
younger.
happened?
Stevie Upshur Chambers and all the guys JB used to go at. So we know Monty Clay for a long time. We all used to ride down to the Harv and see Kimbrough fight, and that's going way back for us, being that I'm only 29 years old. So we go
What were
way
you,
back in
16?
boxing.
Were you only 16 driving the West?
And I was here that night. This was a great night because we had my buddy Andres Taylor made. Taylor, he was
Yeah,
fighting.
yeah.
That's my good buddy. We had another good buddy of mine, Hutchinson, fought that night, made his debut. So this was a great night. I remember this night very well. It was a great night of boxing.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that goes to our next segment, and I didn't pencil it in this week. It's here. Boxing. Because I'm watching Facebook at times, and Smoking Jim, again, this supermodel asked, "What about that boxing match? What's going on?" And that was the August 3rd one that got canceled there due to numerous things. We're missing one of the boxers. We'll try to find out where he is. I told Smoking Jim where he is, though. He's actually coaching right now. So, but we do have some boxing on August 3rd.
We did, and we talked about some boxing last night at the
You
Sip
want to
Sports
mention that
Bar show.
once today, if you would? This is boxing, because I will if you don't.
I was actually gonna vote for. I was gonna change it from boxing tonight since I feel like I'm always talking about boxing all the time.
You
I had
have other
something
options
else
to talk about something
that
else,
was
but
on my mind.
We're trying to make boxing the next epic event in Pittsburgh.
We're working hard at it too, and it's
After
on
Pirates win
the.
the World Series. I can see that.
Well, listen, Chip. Let's just break the record, break the
Let's-
streak, and let's get it. Maybe get into the playoffs, and then maybe we'll talk about a
Well,
a
we
World
could
Series.
it'll just be a rolling type conversation. So, and we got he got the gold, I got the yellow, and some green. So we're looking at champions throughout the city, and then mix it up a little bit since you wanted a little mix here. The Riverhounds keep winning, so maybe they can bring a championship here.
Wow.
And the Lady Riverhounds already won a championship.
Did the Lady Riverhounds play in the same stadium?
Everybody plays in Highmark now.
It's a
That
great
Highmark
stadium.
It's a great venue. We're going to have boxing there next year, buddy.
Wow.
Outdoor boxing. Stay
Sounds
tuned.
good. Sounds
That's what we're
good.
going to work on. Because
Sounds
when
good.
that book comes out, we're going to own boxing in the city of Pittsburgh.
Well, I posed
Go
the
ahead,
question.
Little Zig.
I posed the question to Al, Chip, and Smoking Jim earlier in the day about regarding Donovan McNabb. The Eagles are retiring his number 5 jersey, and if he had the credentials to make it into the Hall of Fame, and that was a question that I asked these gentlemen earlier in the day, and I'd like to hear the answer.
My reply: I don't believe that Donovan McNabb is Hall of Fame worthy. And there are a number of reasons. He played on some very good teams, but one of my measuring sticks for a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback is either you have to have amazing statistics over an elongated period of time, or you've got to win championships. Like Danny Marino, he never won the championship, but he broke every passing record in the book.
He said a bunch, too.
So so he rewrote the record book.
Yeah.
But Donovan McNabb, I'm sorry, he just came up a little bit short, and I don't think
Well,
he's Hall of Fame worthy.
I even take it a step further, Chip, because I don't even think that you have to have the even the numbers that Dan Marino has. I think that you got to pass the eye test with me. When you talk about Dan Marino, Hall of Famer, Warren Moon that never won a championship, you knew he was a Hall of Fame guy.
5-time Grey Cup champion.
Yeah, exactly. But when you talk about Donovan McNabb's not a Hall of Fame.
And I'll just
Well,
let me make that unanimous from us three. When you brought it up, I didn't even want to reply because that didn't even show up on my radar. Now, could he play football? Yes. Do I think he's a Hall of Famer? No.
All right, well, let's run down a list of a couple guys that are about
Well, let
to-
me just say one thing before you go there. Oh, man, you've been working out. Well,
He got one good gun.
but I tell you a guy that
Got
should-
one gun there.
I tell you a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. I tell you a quarterback that should be in the Hall of Fame that will never make the Hall of Fame is Phil Simms. If you look at Phil Simms' statistics and what he did on the field, Phil Simms really is on that borderline. If he'd have probably played instead of Jeff Hostetler in the Super Bowl and won that second Super Bowl, he might have gotten in.
Yeah,
but somebody like that can go into the Ring of Fame for the Giants. Donovan McNabb should go into the Ring of Fame, but Donovan McNabb shouldn't even have his college jersey retired. What has he done to have a jersey
the Eagles
retired?
planning on retiring
That's
his
crazy.
jersey. Well, the Eagles can do that. I mean, each team can,
That's
on
Philadelphia.
on their own because other than you think back in the Philadelphia Eagles, other than Norm Van Brocklin, I mean, who are you looking at as star quarterbacks ever for that franchise?
Convict.
Convict
could be one.
Well, there's
Randall
23
Cunningham was
23
good. Oh, yeah, you're
quarterbacks
right.
in the
Okay.
modern era that are in the Hall of Fame. 23 quarterbacks.
That
But
many?
here's a couple guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame. Smoking Jim hit the first one on the list. I have an arrow pointing to it now. Phil Simms, Joe Theismann, Ken Stabler, Jim Plunkett.
Ken Stabler should be in, and
Then you jump over
What
to
about
the
Jim Plunkett?
now you jump over to more of like my era, and you have Brett Favre, Kurt Warner, Steve McNair, and Donovan McNabb. So obviously Donovan McNabb's not passing the eye test. I don't know
Kurt
what
Warner's
Steve.
going in.
Oh, Kurt Warner's definitely going. The greatest show on turf.
Because here's what he did. He not only turned the Rams from being also ran into a championship caliber team. Look what he did with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
James Harrison.
because once Kurt Warner left, the Arizona Cardinals couldn't beat anybody. It was
Until-
such a big.
Well, that's when Larry Fitzgerald was in beast
Genius
mode.
is in the desert, right, Jim?
Larry Fitzgerald was in beast
Time will
mode.
tell, as they say.
I think Brett Favre is a
Oh,
first
he's
ballot
a-
Hall of
he's a
Famer.
first ballot Hall of Famer.
There's no doubt.
Kurt
Little Z,
Warner's
you
not
can
yet,
have
not
Brett
yet
Favre.
eligible. They're going to
You
go
got
5
him.
years
All right,
after
that's
they
good.
I'm not
retire.
taking him. He was my hero until he retired.
But and if you haven't seen,
this first time.
in the late '60s and early '70s, I don't think there's Kenny Stabler was one of the best quarterbacks
Yeah,
in
he
football.
was.
Because back in those
Money.
days, when
He was
John
money.
Madden was the head coach of the Oakland Raiders, and a lot of people only know Madden as being, the clown on TV and Madden football. But
Yeah.
John Madden was a hell of a football
Yes,
coach.
he was.
In the early '70s, when the Steelers were becoming a dynasty, the Steelers and the Raiders were one of the hottest rivalries in football.
Yeah.
I mean, the Raiders and the Chiefs are always really had knockdown dragon, but the Steelers and the Raiders, man, every one of those games you didn't want to miss one of those. They were some of the best games ever. And Stabler, man, he
snake.
did nothing but win. He would escape from situations that you would think that there's no possible way that he could, and he would make plays to win games.
I respected him because he was a great leader.
Well, if
He
you
brought those
remember,
guys back a lot.
if you guys watch
Couple.
films, if you watch films
Not like you.
back in '72, I believe, the day of the Immaculate Reception, the Pittsburgh Steelers dominated the Raiders.
Yes, they
And
did.
they put Stabler in the game, and he moved them down the field, bootlegged, and ran a touchdown
Yep.
to go up 7-6. So he had the game won.
What
and
a-
at that time, Terry Bradshaw didn't have a two-minute passing drill,
No.
so the game was virtually over until the
Well,
Immaculate
you could
Reception
correct me on
happened.
this one, but didn't Kenny Stabler follow Joe Namath from Bear Bryant?
Alabama,
Alabama.
yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
Bear Bryant was pumping on quarterbacks.
Yeah, he
back
was.
then.
So what if you think Donovan McNabb shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame? What about Jim Kelly? Should Jim Kelly
Oh
be in the Hall
yeah,
of Fame?
Jim Kelly, Hall of Famer,
Jim-
Hall of Famer,
Jim,
Hall of Famer.
Zach, and here's the reason why I say that. Jim Kelly never won the big game, but if you
Oh.
look at the body of work over his career, let's look at. He played a career in the USFL where he was
Yeah.
absolutely writing the record books. with
54
touchdowns.
touchdowns, still a
But
record.
to take the same team to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. Now, granted, he didn't win that game. That is a feat that will never be matched.
And
again.
he never threw up in the huddle at the Super Bowl.
That nobody will ever do that again, Zach. I mean, he
Yeah.
took, and it was Jim Kelly that led those teams
Yeah.
to the Super
love
Bowl
him.
each year. I mean, that
And
was
those
the
Kelly
driving
boys were
force.
tough.
Well, I think we can all
Tough
agree.
guys.
Do we got time for a Jim Kelly
Yes,
story?
I'm waiting
Here's
for
a
you,
Jim
'cause I know
Kelly
you've told me
story.
one before.
Fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Part 2.
Part 2. It goes back to
Get your
the
DVR on.
Big 33 game. Big 33 game. Jim Kelly is the fourth string quarterback in the Big 33 game. The big star at that time was Penn State recruit Joel Coles, a black kid that played in the same backfield with Kurt Warner at Penn State and Blackledge. And Jim Kelly just can't learn the offense. They finally put him in the fourth quarter. Pennsylvania's getting killed. They're getting routed. Frank Rocco, whose son is the Virginia starting quarterback. Frank Rocco and those guys just couldn't get it on. Pennsylvania's getting upset. They're getting beat. All of a sudden, Joel Coles is standing on the bench. He's mad. He's not used to losing. I think he won 4 years undefeated at Penn Hills, undefeated record. All of a sudden, Jim Kelly's getting booed. People in the stands are saying, hey, get Kelly out of there. What's he doing? No, they took Kelly out. And the Kelly people from East Brady, PA, is like, put Kelly back in. Why are they taking Kelly out? So Joel Coles turns around and said, because he sucks. And all of a sudden, the Kelly boy says, Coles, you suck.
Did they start fighting?
All of a sudden, Joel Coles jumps in the stands. The Joel
heard
Cole
that
brothers,
story.
which he had about 8 brothers, and the Kelly brothers started fighting. And don't tell me that the white guys can't be heavyweight champs because they beat the snot out of the Cole brothers. I think that's when they said the Klitschko's could be champs because the brothers went down that day.
Hey, Lennox Lewis was a great heavyweight champion. Evander Holyfield, great champion. So that's not necessarily true, but right now it's true.
Hey, he's talking about fiction and fact. This is way back in the time machine.
East Brady's
We're done.
finest.
I got to give the 2-minute warning to you guys. We're down to 2 minutes.
Okay.
Little Z, I don't know if we can go on your point. We may
My
have to go
fault,
back
Little
and
Z.
cover that on another segment.
I thought we had more time.
No, we're good.
When you come late, time goes fast. I mean, that's just a natural fact. We only got 60 minutes. We had to run a commercial.
We need some equality for CP time.
We'll talk about that on renegotiating your contract. But we're down to probably a minute and a half. I like to do closing remarks. So, Smoking Jim, since you got a late start, you gave a great story. Give us a quick closing remark.
Quick closing remark is pretty soon, within a week or two, I will have my prediction for the Stiller record. It's coming up soon. That's
Thank
it.
you. Little Z.
I'm waiting. The anticipation is building inside of me
With what?
for this.
Oh, did you even listen to him? Oh, he does that all the time. He's just playing. Go ahead.
I just want to thank Devin, Aaron, cameraman John, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, Chip Hayner, Smoking Jim Frazier. It's always a pleasure to be here. And if they keep calling me and put me in a game, I'll keep bringing it to you guys every Tuesday. And I'm still going to be there every Monday night at Sips. I like to get more people out there to come out to Sips. It's a great place. I love Mark and Tina, and that's what's on my mind, and that's
Well,
it.
That's your closing remark. That's on your mind. So we'll take that.
All right.
I'll
Smoking
help you
Jim
out,
got me
buddy.
all messed up because he said what was on his
All
mind.
right, let's get. I know. Don't listen to him. He does that.
Make
Chip,
it
go ahead,
short and
Chip.
sweet, Alan. Bud Selig, retire. Major League Baseball, you need to have a real commissioner, somebody that will do the job. Please make it soon.
And if I
a
have
good
more
one.
time, I thank everybody. Thanks for watching our show. Make sure you come out to Sips Sports Bar. We got a lot of great guests that are coming out there. We got more models coming out there for the guys that want to meet some people. For the ladies that want to start modeling, we got great photographers. Come on out. Thanks again. We appreciate it. Keep liking us on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Hey, Chief, thanks for showing up between shifts.
Yeah,
So
that was
there you
big.
go. That's
Shout
one of
out
our
to
biggest
Chief.
fans and all the rest of you that are watching. We don't have enough time to name all of you. There's more and more. Matter of fact, my neighbor was beeping the horn. John, I'm cutting grass. I shut it down. I thought there was a problem. He goes, great show. You guys are great. Have a nice night, folks. Go Buccos.
Go Buccos.
Win 2.